Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning, Dr. B.
How we
Let's
doing?
let's go Dodgers.
Yeah.
Excited after that.
32 years later. I was an 8-year-old boy when Kirk Gibson hit that grand slam. Or walk off or whatever it was. Welcome to class. How we all doing?
Doing good.
Good. Bunch of people stayed up late watching the Dodgers win and party, so they're not here in theory class. All right. Well, here we go. We'll pick up where we left off. How about that?
Sounds good to me.
There's Zach. Okay, as I recall, we were in the middle of self-test 6-4. Does that sound right? I'm not quite sure. I think our classes were a little bit off. And I think we did number 1, but we didn't do number 2. Does that sound right? Or were we back here?
I think we got like halfway through number 2.
Okay, should we do the second half of number 2 and then the second half of number 3?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think we're on to that next part yet.
Okay. So we're going to fill in alto and tenor parts. If we move our bass by a fourth or a fifth, we have to fill in which way we did it. So let's write out our triad notes. I think that helps us. So we're in B minor. What is the 5 of B minor?
F sharp.
F sharp, A sharp, C sharp, B D F sharp. What's our 6? GBD. 4 chord. EGB. Is that right? Whoa. Major 6 GBD, 4 chord, EGB. Are we good with that? Okay. Ready, set, go. We've got an F sharp and a C sharp. We need to put an A sharp and something else in there.
I think we could put the tenor on the F.
Okay.
And then the alto could be the A.
Like that. What did I forget? What do I got to make sure I don't forget? It's a major 5 chord.
Oh, you have to put the accidental on the A.
Right. So we raise our leading tone, scale degree 7, to make it harmonic minor, which is what gives us a major 5. Okay, so you can't forget that accidental. I know that's going to show up on a test somewhere. Hint, hint, wink, wink, cough, cough, snicker, snicker. Right? All right. So if we do that, we need to go to B, D, F sharp. What do we want to do? We got 2 B's. We need a D and an F sharp, preferably.
You could keep the F the same in the tenor and then put the D underneath. Well, wait, no.
We'd have voice crossing, wouldn't we?
Yeah, we would. Hmm. You could put the D in the tenor and then the F in the alto.
Okay. That works. What did we do that wasn't so great, though?
Is it parallel thirds?
It's not. Well, parallel thirds are fine.
Oh.
But no, it's not. It's not parallel thirds because we actually go to a 4th here. We frustrated our leading tone, but we did it in an inner voice, so we're all right. All right, next. GBD, we have 2 common tones because our bass moved by a 3rd. So we've got a G and a D. We need a B and something else. Who's going to get the B?
Let's put the B on the tenor.
Okay. And then we're going to go to a G in the alto.
Yeah.
Doubling our root. I love it. All right, now our bass is moving another 3rd, so we're going to have 2 common tones, which are going to be GB and GB. We've got an E and an E already, so we need a G and a B preferably. Hey, we've already got that. Can we just stay? Are we all right with that?
Yeah.
Next, we move by a 2nd, so we have nothing in common. When we move by a 2nd or a 7th, we move opposite direction of the bass movement to the nearest chord tone. So our bass moves up, so everything else is supposed to move down. E moves to C. G moves to F sharp. And B moves to A sharp. Are we good with that? All right. Now we get a tricky one. We move by a 2nd again, so we have no common tones. We're supposed to move in the opposite direction of our bass motion. So our bass moves up, so everything else is supposed to move down. So our soprano moved down from C sharp to B, the next nearest chord tone. Our alto is going to go from F sharp to D, which is our next common chord tone. but our tenor has an A sharp.
Could we just double that G
We
then?
d- yeah, can we just keep the G?
We could. We could. But what does it do?
Oh, we don't have a third, do? Oh wait, yeah, we do.
Yeah, we do have the third. We would frustrate the leading tone, though.
Oh.
Tell him to get over it.
Definitely an option, right?
It's inner voice, so right?
It is an inner voice. So this is where I think we could get away with doubling the third. And our book talked about this, I believe.
Right, going from the 5th to the 6th, right?
Right, that deceptive progression. The results in a doubled third in the 6th chord. In the major mode, if the leading tone is in an inner voice, it may move down by step to scale degree 6, as in example 6-9, because the lack of resolution is not so apparent to the ear. This is not acceptable in minor mode, however, because of the awkward interval of the augmented second. So that's why we got to go to the B and double the third. Does that make sense? So that's why we can't just tell them to get over it. Okay, on we go. We're moving the distance of a third in the bass, which means we have two common tones, which are G and B and G and B. We keep the B in the soprano, so we don't want to do that in the tenor, or we're going to have parallel octaves, right? So what do you propose we do in the tenor?
Move stepwise to the E.
Move a skip to the
I'm
E?
sorry.
Or
I'm
the G?
talking about the alto.
Oh, okay. Like that?
Yes.
Okay. Now we're moving a second, so no tones in common. The bass moves up, so everything else is supposed to move down. B moves to A sharp. E is going to move down to C sharp. Bass is going to move down and double. Okay, next we have F sharp, A sharp, C sharp, same chord. Bass stayed the same. Soprano didn't, so we still need an A sharp. And we probably want to double our root again.
A in the tenor.
A sharp in the tenor.
And F sharp in the alto.
Alrighty. Works for me. And then we need a B, D, F sharp. How do you want to deal with that?
Keep the F sharp.
Okay, if we do that, we still need our third.
Oh,
And then could the tenor move up to the D?
What does that result in?
the leading tone.
We
Or is it-
frustrate our leading tone.
Yeah.
What are our other options? We have to have a third. So if we don't frustrate our leading tone,
Being
got to have our third there. We omit the fifth. Does that work? I don't see us as having many other options. Right?
Is is frustrating the leading tone like that something you specifically want to avoid, like at the end of a part like this?
Yeah. For sure you want to avoid it when it's in the treble clef or in the soprano part, the top part, right? You can't frustrate it there, and it's bad to frustrate it in the bass as well. In an outer voice, you don't want to do that. Here, the book, did this. They did D here, and then they have B here, and then they have F sharp here in parentheses. So what does that mean? I don't even know. Are we splitting the tenors? Are we splitting the basses and having baritones sing the F sharp? Are we saying it's okay, you can frustrate the leading tone? Either one is an okay option in the tenor? I'm not sure what they're saying. So I think you could do a couple things and be fine. We're just telling you the norms so you can break them all, right? Okay. Did anybody need a screenshot of that before I clear it? Okay, next is part C of self-test 4. I think we did. I'm pretty sure we did this. So we're going to do number 2 anyway. So we are naming the key, analyzing the chords by the figured bass. Then we're composing a melody, a good melody, and putting in the alto and the tenor. So we are in the key here of 2 sharps. Are we in D major or B minor?
We are in D major.
D major.
D major.
Start on a D, end on a D. So are you fine with me calling this Roman numeral 1? Roman numeral 1. Are you fine with me calling this a 5-1 at the end? All right, here we have an F sharp. What do we know that to be?
The 3.
3. So we're going to have a minor 3. Then we have a B. What does that make it?
Minor 6.
Yeah.
Minor 6. G is going to be
This 4.
major 4. A is going to be
5.
Major 5.
major 5, back to minor 6. G is our 4, major 4. E is going to be
Minor 2.
minor 2. All right. D, F sharp, A. Is that right? Minor 3. What is minor 3?
A
F
sharp,
A,
C.
or F sharp, A, C sharp.
Right.
Okay, minor 6.
Is B, D, and F sharp.
Okay. Major 4.
G, B, and D.
5.
A,
F sharp, C sharp, E.
6.
That would be B, D
B,
sharp,
B,
or B,
B,
D,
D, F
F,
sharp.
F sharp.
4 we had earlier. GBD. 2.
E, G, and
B.
B.
And this is where our chart can really help us, right? You got that laminated at Office Depot over the weekend, huh?
I can laminate it at my house.
Nice. All right, here we go. They want us to compose a good melody, a good melody line. How are we going to do that? All right, sopranos on D. Where do you want to go from D? C sharp.
C sharp.
And then that's our leading tone, so we need to go back to the D, true?
Hypothetically, could we keep going down?
Ooh, could we? That's the only option to frustrate the leading tone in the soprano, is to go D, C sharp, B, A, it said. You remember that? Okay, good. Except for A is not an option there, so we got to stay on the B. And then get to the A.
So wait a second.
Go ahead.
If we go down to the leading tone, then what we're doing is we're going. The other rule is instead of going back to the first, we go down to the fifth.
Yeah, the exception is you can have a 7-6-5 motion.
7-6-5.
Okay. Now we're kind of boring because it's all been stepwise motion.
Could we go up to the D there?
We
Back
could.
to the 1?
But what happens if we do that? What do we got to be careful of if we do that? Anybody remember the part detection problems, the melody critiquing? We have to worry about a focal point. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah.
So if we go back to the D, we'll either have to go higher. We will have to go higher. And do we want to do that? I propose we go to the F sharp. It's going to be tight. And then we need to start going higher. Then what?
Should we go up to the B?
Oh, let's see. And then A. AA? Or AD? Let's listen to our melody. I totally did not do rhythm. Ah! Is that a decent melody?
I thought it sounded nice.
One focal point?
I think it'll top the charts.
Yeah, definitely. Going platinum. All right. Here we go. We might need to adjust it along the way, but we might be okay. All right, D, F sharp A, going to F sharp A, C. Our bass moves up a third, which means we have two common tones, F sharp and A, F sharp and A. We have the F sharp and we have the C sharp. We definitely need a third. We have the A in the alto. Should we keep it?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
common tone.
Yes.
good idea.
And then keep the F sharp.
Yes.
Yeah, that also seems like a good idea.
All right, our bass is moving by a fourth, which means we will have one common tone, which is the F sharp. We are in such close proximity. I don't think we have any choice here other than to go to the F sharp in the alto and the D in the tenor. And that was way number 2 for those of you following along at home. Right? Because if we stay on our common tone of F sharp, we have to get the D in to be our third. We'd have voice crossing in the alto. So I don't think we have any other option than to do it how we did it. You with me?
Yes.
All right, here we are. Now we're moving down a third, so we should have two common tones. One of them is the B, which we retain in the soprano. B and D are our two common tones here. We could keep the D in the tenor. Move the F sharp up to G. Do we want to do that? Does that work for everybody?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, next we are moving our bass a second. And when we move our bass a second, we have no common tones. And we're supposed to move down. Well, we're supposed to move opposite the bass motion to the next nearest tone.
So we could just move the tenor down to the C sharp and
Okay.
the alto down to the E.
Okay. Does that work? Works for me. Okay, we're moving another second. So no chord tones in common. Bass moves up, so everything else is supposed to move down. A down to F sharp. E is going to come down to D. C sharp can go down to B and double. Does that work?
I think so.
This is another one of those 5 to 6 things. Do you remember these? So I think we could get away with that, don't you? Because it's in major. I think we could also double the third in this situation, which is what the book did. I think either one, though. Okay, next we have GBD. We're moving a third, so we should have two common tones. B in the D, B in the D.
You could put the B in the alto and the D in the tenor.
So you're saying D, tenor, B, alto? What's
I'm
wrong
sorry,
with
I
that?
have that backwards. I meant
Yeah.
the B in the alto and the D in the tenor.
So stay right where we're at in both voices. Otherwise, we have voice crossing, right?
Yeah, my bad.
Good. Okay, our bass moves a third. So we're going to have two common tones, which are going to be G and B. Uh-oh. Okay. This is fun. This is real fun. We've got our E, and we've got a B in the soprano. So we need a G and a D. Can we stay on our D and go to our G? Oh no, D is not a chord tone. What am I thinking? Do we want to go up to E and keep our B? No, we can't keep B there. We already have a B. We need a G. Do we want to do that? Is that a problem? We have a leap in the soprano, and we go to a fifth between the bass and the soprano. Is that illegal?
Is that direct fifth?
I think so. So my question is, what happens if we do a little switcheroo here?
Is our only option going to be to change the melody a little bit?
I think so. If we stay on the G, in the melody, that allows us to stay on the B in the tenor and move up to E in the alto, which I like much better. Is that all right? Does everybody see what just happened? Okay. Our bass is now moving up a fourth. So we should have one common tone, which is going to be the E. We have two A's. We need a C sharp and an E.
I say we keep the E in the alto and then have the tenor move up to the C sharp.
Okay.
Which, is that our only option?
I think it probably is if we don't change our melody. What do you think? And then going to the next one, what would we need to do? We need an F sharp. The only place I see that that can go is in the tenor voice. Is that true? We could double the alto and the soprano.
Can we get the A in there below the D for
That's
the
what I was
tenor
wondering.
voice?
Oh, you want to put it in the tenor?
Yeah, I was thinking the tenor.
Well, if we do that, we don't have our third.
Well, you still have the F sharp and the. I was thinking the A and the tenor and the F sharp and the. I'm sorry, the F sharp in the tenor and the A and the alto.
We have parallel octaves between our soprano and our bass. You see that? Can we go back a little bit? Can we go back to the chord above it, before it? This is what the book did. The book changes this melody just a little bit. They go to an E in the soprano. So if we do that, we still need a third. Where are you going to put it? We've got an A, we've got an E. We need a C sharp.
You could just put that in the tenor.
If we put it in the tenor, what are we going to do with the soprano, with the alto? You going to double your fifth? It's probably smarter to put the C sharp in the alto
Oh, okay, yeah.
and double your root in
Word.
the tenor. And then I think you got to go to the F sharp here. And you can omit your fifth. So that's what the book did different than what we did. Make sense? We're just going to keep getting better and better at this as we keep doing them, right? Okay. Can I clear my screen? Okay, now we're to the fun part. And when I say fun, instrumental ranges and transpositions. We're going to watch a video. Anna rocks out on her drums.
If you're a YouTuber, you're probably using this and this. So you
know
should
it.
start using this.
The first question you may ask is, why do we even have transposing instruments in the first place? For the sake of time, I'll just say that it has a lot to do with fingering, so that players can switch between instruments without having to change how they play it. For example, changing between a B-flat and an E-flat clarinet. What I'd really like to cover in this video is how to deal with transposing instruments. Whether you're a composer or a performer, an educator or a conductor, you probably different pitches, the written pitch and the sounded pitch. If you're playing an instrument that's in C, these pitches are the same. There are some C instruments that are transposed either an octave above or below what is written. The treble instruments are written an octave lower than they sound, and the bass instruments are written an octave higher than they sound. And here's a list of all of the instruments that transpose up or down an octave. If you have an instrument that's in something other than C, we have to compensate for the difference. Practically speaking, there are two different types of transposition. One, going from concert pitch to a transposed pitch. If, for example, you have a piano melody and you want to transpose it to trumpet. Or two, we have going from the transposed pitch to the concert pitch. If, for example, you have a conductor's score and you want to know the sounded pitch of an instrument. So let's look first at B-flat instruments. On these instruments, a written C is a sounded B-flat. B-flat is 2 half steps lower than C, or a major second. So for B-flat instruments, you must compensate by writing 2 half steps higher than the intended pitch. Here's Twinkle Twinkle Little Star on the piano, which is a C instrument. If a trumpet, a B-flat instrument, were to play that exact line, here's what it would sound like. And just for fun, here they are together. That's bad. So we compensate. Let's move every note of the trumpet line up a major second. Looking at the accidentals, we notice the trumpet is now in D major. So let's fix the key signature as well. If everything has gone according to plan, the two instruments should now be playing in unison. But let's say that we have this particular line in front of us, and we want to know what the concert pitch of the trumpet is. We simply go in reverse. Let's move every note of the trumpet part down a major second. This shows us what the actual sounded pitches of the trumpet are. So when you see a B-flat instrument that's listed as sounds a major second lower than written, that's what that means. Here's a list of all of the B-flat instruments. Next, let's look at the E-flat instruments. We'll compensate the exact same way that we did for the B-flat instruments. These instruments can either be written a minor third above or a major sixth below. For these instruments, a written C is a sounded E-flat. So to transpose from a C instrument to an E-flat instrument, transpose all of the notes down a minor third or up a major sixth. Here's Twinkle Twinkle Little Star again, this time for piano and alto saxophone. The alto saxophone sounds a major sixth lower than written. So we'll take our alto sax part and we'll move it up a major sixth. And along with that, we'll make sure to fix our key signature. Finally, we'll look at the F instruments. There are other notes that instruments can transpose to, but they're much less common. The two most common F instruments are the French horn and the English horn, which incidentally have nothing to do with France or England, but that's another video. One last time, here's our song. These instruments both sound a perfect fifth lower than written. So we'll take our horn part and we'll move every note up by a perfect fifth, and then adjust our key signature. Again, if you're looking at a horn part, you can move every note down a perfect fifth to find the concert pitch. Finally, here is a non-exhaustive list of instruments and how they transpose.
Wasn't that fun?
Very much so.
Yeah, it was a cool video.
All right, so it was really fast. I know that video went quick through it, so we're going to try to break it down a little bit slower. Okay, instrumental ranges and transpositions. Many of the exercises suggest that you compose examples for combinations of instruments in your class, and your instructor may make additional assignments. Yeah, right. that also call for instrumental combinations. To carry out these assignments successfully, you will need to understand the ranges and transpositions of the various instruments. Appendix A on page 555 provides suggested ranges for many of the instruments for which you may want to write. A written range is given next to the sounding range for each instrument in Appendix A. This is necessary because, strange as it might seem at first, players of certain instruments of the band and orchestra do not read music at concert pitch. That's horrible. This means that the notes that they read in their parts produce pitches that are higher or lower than the notes that have the same names on the piano. The reasons that we have transposing instruments are somewhat complicated, but we will try to explain two of them here as examples. The French horn was originally a valveless instrument that could only play the notes of the harmonic series. A harmonic series with C2 as a fundamental is illustrated in example 6-12. The filled-in note heads represent pitches that are quite out of tune in comparison to the modern equal-tempered system. So, the French horn could only play those notes, and the notes that are shaded in would be quite out of tune. To play in different keys, the horn player had to insert the proper crook, a piece of tubing of a precisely calculated length. A longer crook lowered the instrument's fundamental, which is the lowest pitch available on an instrument without using any valves or slides, and correspondingly its harmonic series, whereas a shorter crook did the reverse. No matter what crook was used, it was the custom to write for the horn as if it were in the key of C, so that the C fundamental and its familiar harmonic series would remain unchanged. This practice was retained even after valves were introduced and the horn settled into its modern F fundamental. Perhaps an easier example to understand is the saxophone family, which consists of 8 different instruments, each of which has a different sounding range. Only 2 of the saxophones are included in your Appendix A. To make it easier for players to double, which is to switch from one saxophone to the other, saxophone music is written as if all saxophones had the same range with the same result, that a written G4, for example, is fingered the same way on every saxophone. So there you go. 2 reasons why we have transposed instruments. Naturally, a musician has to understand transpositions thoroughly to compose, arrange, conduct, or read instrumental music. To write music that you have composed or arranged from concert pitch for a transposing instrument, follow the instructions under written range in Appendix A. To write music from a transposing instrument into concert pitch, you have to reverse that process. Example 6-13 illustrates this. Notice that key signatures are transposed as well. Okay, let's hop over to Appendix A real quick. In Appendix A, we have...
What page is Appendix A on?
Appendix A is page 555. Okay. In Appendix A, on the left side, we have the sounding range of the instrument. On the right side, we have the written range of the instrument. So this is kind of poorly done. It should have been done reverse, but that's okay. So the flute and the oboe are concert instruments. So they sound, and what you see is what you get. So if this is what's written, that's what sounds. If that's what's written, that's what sounds. Does that make sense? So you see a C, you get a C with the flute and the oboe. Hopefully. Okay, the B flat clarinet, if this is the written range, this is the sounding range. So this is what we hear. This is what we see. So the B flat clarinet, it's a treble clef instrument, and it's written a major second higher than it sounds. It's a little confusing because these notes don't match, and they're not supposed to. So the lowest written note here that they say that the clarinet can play is an E, which is actually a D because it's a major second off. And the highest written note is a G, which is really an F. They see a G, they play an F. Now I want to hop back. I want to hop back to where we were because they give us a couple little sayings that I think will really help us. Whoa. I have to do it this way, unfortunately. It's kind of cumbersome, but we'll make it. So, this next paragraph is, in my opinion, the important part. If you don't have Appendix A or a similar guide handy, remember that a transposing instrument sees a C but sounds its key. This means that a horn player who sees a C, like I'm writing in the staff now. Oh, that's clarinet. Sorry. This means that a horn player who sees a C will sound an F because the French horn is pitched in F. But a clarinet player will see a C and will play its key, which is B flat. And to go from concert pitch to the transposed part, remember that to hear its key, you must write a C. So if we want to hear its key, which is B flat, clarinet B flat, we have to write a C. So our original key signature is F major, but the clarinet, according to our Appendix A, transposes up a major second. So we got to go up from the key of F to the key of G with one sharp. So the clarinet players see G, D, B, but they end up playing F, C, A because they transpose a major second down. Does everybody get this? So C's a C sounds its key. To hear its key, you must write a C. So those are going to be our cute little catchphrases that are going to help us through all of this. Questions, comments, concerns? So then they give you some procedures when writing for an ensemble. They say, write the range on your manuscript paper. Compose the exercise in the form of a reduced score on as few staffs as possible. Keep an eye on the ranges. They say to provide enough copies for the ensemble so that players will not have to huddle around a single stand. Instrumental parts should be copied onto separate sheets using correct transpositions. To all of that, I would say the following. As a student, you can buy the software Finale for $99. That's a lot of money. But when you graduate, Finale goes up to like $600. Finale is a music instrument, or Finale is a music notation software that allows you to write your music out on the computer and print it out nicely. It will allow you to score for a band, but hit a button and have all the parts come out as individual parts extracted along with your band score. I teach Finale in the summer online. It's always been an online class since I've taught it. It's a 6-week course. So if that's something that you're interested in taking, it will be offered again this summer online. We do a series of 7 projects in the 6 weeks and take a midterm and a final. But one of the cool things that Finale will do is you can turn on an option where it will show you when you are leaving the comfortable range of an instrument. It will turn the note head from black to orange, saying, hey, you're kind of out of the comfortable part writing range for that instrument. So just so you know, you're pushing it. So that's kind of a nice feature of Finale, and being able to write in a music notation software rather than writing everything out by hand. Does that make sense? If you are a commercial music major, you have to take that course to get your certificate. Music 112. So, Sophia Ruby, I'm planning on seeing you this summer. And anyone else that's commercial music. And anyone else that just wants to take it. Sheesh, I knew it was coming. She says, whatever, you're going to love it. It's a fun class. If you're interested in going into composition or theory, I definitely would take that class. If you just want to take the class and to compose your own music, great class to take. Or if you just want to take the class, have it be an elective and be able to get the software before the price goes up after you graduate, it's a good class to take. Okay, so let's hop back over to Appendix A and look at the rest of the instrument transpositions real quick. So the clarinet we just learned about, it's in the treble clef and is a major second higher. Bassoon is in the bass clef and sometimes in the tenor clef. Notice this little tenor clef here, right? Okay, the E-flat alto sax is a treble clef instrument. This is what we hear on the left, and this is what we see on the right. So it's a major sixth higher. They see their note a major sixth higher than what we hear their note. B-flat tenor sax. They are a treble clef instrument, and they are a major ninth higher than what we hear. They see their note a major ninth higher than we hear. French horn. It's an F instrument, and it uses both bass and treble clef, and it is a perfect fifth higher than what we hear.
So when you're composing for all these instruments, or when you're looking at a score, you're looking at different key signatures?
Yes.
Wow.
Yep. When I was in college, my undergrad, we had a class called orchestration, and Samuel Adler was the author of our textbook. It's called The Study of Orchestration, Samuel Adler. I know that Fresno State has that book in their library. Unfortunately, you can't get to it right now because the library's closed. But I have seen that book on their shelves. And all of this transposed instrument stuff is in that orchestration book, which is nice. It's kind of like the inside covers. This is what's printed in the inside covers of that book. Okay, B-flat trumpet. It's a treble clef. The music will be in treble clef, and the music will be a major second higher than what we hear. So we hear an E, they're playing an F sharp in the treble clef. Trombone is a C instrument. Tuba is a C instrument. Violin, viola, cello is a C instrument. However, the cello sometimes uses the tenor clef when it's convenient. The double bass is an octave higher. What we hear is an octave lower than what we see in their music. Does that make sense? Questions, comments, concerns, friends with questions.
I have one comment.
Go ahead.
The tuba range is a lie. It says the E flat, the octave E is the lowest it could go. That's not necessarily true.
You can go lower or you can't go that low.
I can go lower. I can do a pedal C.
Okay. Yeah.
It's funny.
It's probably a maybe. I don't know. Can you do that comfortably?
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe it's for junior high kids or something. I don't know.
I know a lot of tuba players can't do it comfortably. I just think
Yeah.
it's funny.
Yeah.
That's
Okay. We're going to go back to self-test 6 dash. Where are we? 6-5. So they want us to notate the chords for these instruments. Each chord is written at concert pitch, so transpose as needed for the performers. Note that the instruments are listed in score order, the order used in Appendix A, which is not always the same as order by pitch. You do not need to use key signatures, but use the correct clef for each instrument. Well, their key uses key signatures, so we're going to use key signatures. So here we go. Flute. Flute is a treble clef instrument, and it is in concert pitch, so we don't have to do anything but write the note on the staff. We good there? All right, next is clarinet and B flat. So we want to hear a G. So if we want to hear a G, what are we going to write?
Are we going to write an A?
We are going to write an A because it's transposed up a major second. So it's a treble clef instrument. We're going to write an A, and up an A. We're in the key of C. So transposing that up a second, we're going to be in the key of D major, and we're going to write an A. Good job. Okay, bassoon is a bass clef instrument, sometimes tenor clef instrument. And they want to hear an E. So we're just going to write an E, but it's going to be bass clef ledger line E. You with me? Oboe. Oh, thank heavens it's an oboe. There's a line from a movie, Sabrina. You see, there was some confusion. I thought it was for hobo lessons. Hobo lessons, not oboe lessons. Oboe is right where it's written. It's a concert sounding instrument. Okay, alto sax. According to our appendix on page 555, alto sax is E flat. Alto sax in E flat. It's a treble clef instrument, and it's a major sixth higher than what we hear. So, major sixth up from C is A major, which is F sharp, C sharp, G sharp. Our note given was an E. What is a major sixth above E?
C.
C sharp.
C sharp.
Good. Okay, tenor sax. According to our appendix A, it's B flat instrument. B flat tenor sax. So it's a treble clef, and it's a major ninth higher. So if we are in the key of C, a major ninth above that is the key of D, right? F sharp, C sharp. The note we were given is C sharp. So up a major ninth above that is
Also D?
it's going to be D sharp.
Oh, because it was C sharp to begin with. Okay.
Yeah. There's a little shortcut for that. Major ninth is the same as a major second,
A major ninth is the same as a major second.
right? Isn't it?
I don't know. I thought it was a minor second.
Mm-mm.
No, major second. Okay.
So you can just subtract 7. Does that work? We'll try it in the future. Okay, moving on. Alto sax. They've given us a G. An alto sax is an E flat instrument we learned, and it's a major 6 higher in the treble clef. So that's the same one as this one, right? We got another alto sax example. So we should be in A major, F sharp, C sharp, G sharp. We're given a G, so a major 6th above that should be an E, correct? Okay, trumpet and B flat. That's a treble clef. And according to my appendix A B flat trumpet is B flat instrument, so it's like the clarinet, right? It's a major second higher than what we see. So we are seeing an E. I'm sorry. We're hearing an E, so we need to make it a second higher. So a second higher would be D major, true? And so that E is going to be an F sharp to make sure that we hear the E. We have to give them an F sharp to play. Trombone, thank heavens, is a concert pitch instrument, but it is a bass clef instrument. So to get that middle C, we're going to ask the trombone players to play it right there. Are we all right so far? Few more. We're going to make it. Horn and F. We know that that's a F instrument. It's treble clef. Is that true? No. It does both. And it's a perfect 5th above. So it has an F. So we are going to be treble clef. Perfect 5th above is the key of G. Perfect 5th above the key of C is the key of G. We want to hear that F, so we got to give them a C. Who are my band players in this room? And what is your instrument?
I play the tuba.
Ethan plays the tuba.
used to play trombone.
Okay. Anybody else?
I was in pit.
What did you play?
The marimba.
Nice. Well, that's a keyboard instrument, huh?
Yeah.
Elizabeth plays the flute and sax and percussion. Good. Anybody else? Okay, trumpet and B flat. We know that that is a B flat instrument and it is a second. So we're going to make, treble clef. Up a second, we're going to be in the key of D major. Is this true? F sharp, C sharp.
So is the key of the instrument always going to be below C? So like for the horn in F, is that like that's going to be like a fifth below C?
If you're in the key of C, yes. It's going to be a perfect fifth higher than whatever key you're in, or lower.
Okay,
because it depends on how you're looking at it. Because they flip-flop.
At first, when I saw horn in F, I thought that was a perfect fourth above.
So the horn in F's written range is a perfect fifth higher than what we hear. So if we want to hear a C, we have to write a G. If we want to hear the horn's note, we have to write a C. That's not true. Is that true? That is true. Remember that little saying?
Yeah.
If you want to hear a C, you have to write their key. So if we want to hear a C, we write an F.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay, so we're on trumpet and B flat. And the note that they've given us is a C. What does that mean?
Does that mean we're going to write a D?
Yes. Good job. And then, oh, joyous day. We have a tuba note, Ethan. They want an A. Do we just write it right there?
Yup.
Beauty. Is this making sense to people? Double bass, we want this C. Remember the bass is an octave off. So we're going to write this C to be able to hear that C. Cello. We want to hear a G, so we write a G. Piece of cake. Horn and F. We know that that's an F. It's a fifth. Its written pitch is a fifth higher than its sounding pitch. We're in the key of C, so we're going to put that in the key of G. And we want to hear an E, so we are going to write
a B.
A B. Okay. This is everything you need to take your quiz, but I'm going to put off our quiz. I'll publish it. If you want to take it, you can. But if you want a little bit more review, I'm going to try to review everything in this chapter just a little bit better on Monday and publish that chapter 6 quiz. Hopefully you've got everything to get your homework done. I'll probably upload that deadline as well. Are we all right with that?
Very much, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Questions,
Thank you.
Questions, comments, concerns, friends with questions? So I'll probably make everything due Wednesday night, or Tuesday night, rather. Tuesday night.
The workbook?
Workbook and Chapter 6 quiz. I'll make it due Tuesday night.
Okay.
You were expecting it to be due Sunday night. I'll give you a couple more days, and I'll have one more class period to review these transpositions and to go over any last questions. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yes,
Thank
absolutely.
you, Doctor.
Yeah, totally.
But don't put off doing your workbook because it's a ton of pages, right? So hopefully you've been pacing yourself through it. You'll get a couple extra days, but that's it. So I will see you all tomorrow in ear training.
All right.
All right. See you then.
Okay.
See you, Doctor.
Bye-bye.
Later, Dr. B.
Dr. B.
Bye.